Hey, how's it going, guys? Captain Kuba here, and welcome to the Gaming Bunker. And at this point, I should start calling this channel the Entertainment Bunker, because it's not really about just gaming anymore. Because today I'm gonna be talking about The Batman. Yeah, this is the movie that's just breaking all kinds of records. Everybody seems to love this movie, and I wanted to give my opinion on it because I finally saw it. And I honestly don't think it's that good. Now, I know some of you are gonna think that I'm just being a contrarian just for the sake of being different or something. That's not it. Sometimes I do agree with critics and fans and love something like God of War 2018 or Elden Ring. I think those things are amazing, and the majority of people believe it is. But when it comes to the Batman, I completely disagree. There are some things I like, but for the most part, I thought the movie and the story itself was a convoluted mess. But before we get to that, let me get to the parts that I did like. And I think that boils down to how the movie looks. Christopher Nolan made a Batman series a few years back, and it was dark and gritty, but Matt Reeves has made this movie even darker and gritty, and I love it. And the cinematography is amazing, but let me get to the whole dark and gritty thing. This movie looks so cool, man. Like the Batsuit design, the Batcar, like everything just looks amazing. I love how it looks. Like, there's a scene in this movie that Batman goes up a roof and he needs to glide down. And when I saw him go up the roof, I'm like, oh, he's gonna do the classic, bat cape, glide down type of thing you see in Arkham games and all the previous movies and shows. But that's not what he does. He presses a button on his suit, and the bat cape itself like folds around his suit, and it becomes this flying suit that you see people with, using with the Red Bull brand on it. Anyway, it's really cool. And something interesting happens. Batman is portrayed as a human being. He's not a complete badass who's invulnerable to any type of attack. When he's gliding down, he actually crashes into a bridge, I think, and he gets injured pretty bad. And I love that scene. Connery was laughing, but I loved it because it's like, it shows you, that Batman is a more relatable superhero. I love that. Later in the movie, he's near death. Like, he had just got shot by a shotgun by one of Riddler's goons, and he's near death. And what he does is he pulls out this little container that has like a green liquid, and at first I thought, is that kryptonite? But Connery pointed out that must be venom. The liquid Bane uses to become stronger. I'm like, that's really interesting because Bane is not in the movie at all. So it kind of gives you that sense that Batman is this awesome planner that always has, a backup plan, something up his sleeve that, you don't see yet. So it's just really cool details like that. And the cinematography itself is beautiful sometimes. When he falls in the water and he's guiding the I don't know what you would call them, Gothamites, the Gotham citizens, right? Like, he's guiding them out, and the camera, it has a God's eye view camera, and you see him leading the people. It's some of the shots are amazing. There's another fight scene that's, oh my god, the fight scenes are amazing in this movie. I think they're the best fight scenes I've seen in any Batman movie. There's a fight scene where the room is completely dark, and the only light you as the viewer see, is the light coming from the gunshots of the goons shooting at Batman. I'm like, that's beautiful. They nail that scene. But now we have to get to the negatives. I don't think the movie was that good at all, and I don't know who was in charge of like organizing the movie or like writing the plot itself, but the plot is all over the place. There are things that flat out don't make sense to me. And maybe it's because I didn't watch the movie with subtitles because I was at the theater, but I went with 3 other people, and they all had the same complaint. But there's just things that don't make any sense. There's a scene in the movie that Riddler gives Batman a riddle that ends with, oh, find the rat with wings, I think, in Spanish or something, and they translate it, and somehow they believe that what Riddler is trying to get them to find is penguin. Somehow they think a rat with wings is a penguin. I'm like, and at that moment I was thinking, how did they come to that conclusion? That doesn't really make much sense. And then the penguin gives them a Spanish lesson. It's like, oh no, it's actually, a Batman. And it's like, how did you not come to this conclusion, man? I don't understand. There's just other tiny things that just bother me throughout the movie. Like Selina, that's Catwoman, for those of you who don't know. Her whole thing is just finding who killed her friend. And all this time, I believe she's had a voicemail from her friend the night she died, and it reveals that the killer was Falcone or something. Now, this could have been taken from the goon she was after as well. I'm not really sure. It just seemed like she just, here you go. My friend sent me this, and it's like, oh, Falcone's the bad guy. But I, as a viewer, knew that Falcone was a bad guy. So maybe I came in knowing too much about the movie, and that's kind of what ruined my experience of it. Because maybe Batman didn't know that Falcone was a bad guy, but he was clearly the leader of the mob. I don't understand why he wasn't suspicious of him at all. And there's also a bunch of mentions to this Maroni guy, and that's what makes me think that my confusion doesn't come from the fact that I know too much about Batman, because I don't know certain things. Like, who the hell is Maroni? Like, they keep mentioning this Maroni and a drug bust that happened years ago, and it turns out that Falcone ratted him out, and he didn't want people knowing about that, and Wayne was involved. I couldn't understand anything. I really couldn't, man. And again, it wasn't just me, dude. I went with Kanaruhi's brother, my brother, and we all had a general confusion about the whole plot. It was just, it was a convoluted mess, in my opinion. And I have to talk about the Riddler, because some people are praising him as one of the best villains ever. That's not true. I don't think this is it at all. I feel like he was trying too hard to be the next Heath Ledger, and I've heard that he was a method actor or something. He might be good in other movies, but he's decent in this one. He's a crazy guy. That's it. There's nothing really special about him. Every once in a while, he comes in and is like, oh, riddle me this, riddle me that. But he doesn't really have a presence like Heath Ledger did in The Dark Knight, 2008. I forgot the name of the movie. Like, that the Joker's always in that movie. Like, it's either Batman or the Joker. Like, you're just seeing those two perspectives, and that's what made that movie so good. And this movie is just Batman and brooding over, like, ugh. And Batman himself engages in so much self-narration. I don't know what's up with that. In the previous movies, narration is done by another character in another scene. Like, that ending to Batman 2008. I keep forgetting the name. But Gordon is like, oh, he's not the hero we need. He's not the hero we want. He's the hero we need. That's narration, and something else is happening aside from that speech. But in this movie, it's Batman talking. I must find hope. I must give hope to... What are you talking? This is so boring. Like, it makes it seem like he's Batman from the games. Like, he's always like, I have to open the door. Oh, I wonder how to... It's annoying. Like, a lot of the things of this movie are really annoying. So I think the story of the movie itself is poorly given to us. But the story itself is not that special either. I feel like some people are praising this movie because they haven't played Batman the Telltale series. It's exactly the same story, if I'm remembering correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in that game, you're Bruce Wayne, obviously, and you find out that maybe your family had some run-ins with the mob. Alfred gets severely injured, and then you meet the Joker, and he believes you're his friend. And then at the end, you kind of reveal to it, oh, I'm not your friend or anything like that. And then you kill the Joker or you put him in jail. It's the same story. Like, maybe it's not the same, but all the story beats from the game are in the movie as well. So it doesn't feel very original at all. I think people are confusing like good cinematography with, amazing action and just really good like aesthetics in general for a good movie. And the story was all over the place. Like, when you introduce that many characters, you really need to be careful how to balance them out. Who the heck is Maroni? How does Catwoman play into this? It's just so much. Bruce Wayne was a bad guy. He wasn't really. It's like, dude, just pick a lane and stick with it. So that's kind of what I felt with this movie. Just a complete frustration. And it felt like it would never end. Like, I couldn't really tell you what the 3-act structure was. It was like all over the place. When you thought it was about to be done, it just kept going. And it was overall, I did not enjoy the movie. Like, a few things I did. The one cool thing I liked was the Riddler's plan at the end, which was to flood Gotham. That was an interesting take on it. It's usually like poisoning the water, the water system or something. Like, it's something more cartoony, but this one's like, oh, I'm gonna flood the city and then shoot the people. I did find it kind of funny that the Riddler had a YouTube channel or something with 500 followers. I personally found that funny because the way Gordon talked about it, it's like as if he was a YouTuber. It's like, oh, he's being followed by 500 people. So it kind of sounded like too much like YouTube, how YouTubers talk. It's like, oh my God, he's got 500 people. So there's things that I just found funny in general. Overall, do I recommend it? Yeah, I guess, you know, it's got some good scenes and all that, but I don't think it's as good as people are telling me it is. I would not pay a second time to go to watch it at the theater. I'll watch it whenever it comes to Netflix or whatever DC puts it up. And maybe I'll understand it better with subtitles and after the fact that I saw the movie. But overall, that was my whole feeling with the movie. I left the theater thinking that the story was a little bit too convoluted. It was all over the place. The action sequences were good. Batman was brutal. I love that. But overall, it was an okay movie. If I were to rate it out of 10, I would give it a maybe 6.5 out of 10. Like, if I'm being generous, I think. I don't think it's that good, honestly. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for today. That was kind of my review-ish of The Batman. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me. You can let me know in the comment section below what you think. I'm sure you guys loved it. And if you did, that's fine. You know, just let me know what you think, and we can maybe talk about it more in the comment section. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, remember, go out of the bunker and conquer.